Alright, ladies and gents, welcome back to another video. We got a little tiny box here, and inside of it is an iPhone 4S, and I paid exactly this much for it, so pretty good deal if you ask me. Let's get it opened up and see what kind of condition it's in. Alright, here we go. This is the iPhone 4S, and it's pretty dirty, but I'm not seeing any significant damage. We've got a pretty dirty charging cable as well. I'm going to get the iPhone cleaned up, and then we're going to take a look at this thing. All right, here is the iPhone, and it is looking very clean. I'm not seeing any scratches here on the front of the display. Flipping around to the rear, it looks to be in very good condition as well. This device basically looks brand new. We do have some scuffs here on the bottom, maybe a few on the sides. Nothing too bad, and certainly the front and the back are probably the most important, and they look amazing. So let's see if this powers on. It does. We've got the iOS 9, 8, or 7 Apple logo. That's okay. We'll let that boot up, and once it does, we're going to take a look at this thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fly through the setup menu here and get to the home screen. All right, and this actually looks like iOS 7. I thought that setup menu looked a little different than usual. If we head into settings, general, and about, you can see we've got 7.0.4. So that is actually not what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be on iOS 9, but this is in fact iOS 7. Let's double check that this is in fact an iPhone 4S, and it is because we've got Siri. Let's see how the iOS 7 Siri sounds. What were the scores of this week's college football games?
Here are the results from college football for yesterday.
All right, so Siri is working. Not bad. I know the iOS 6 Siri, and I think the iOS 5 Siri is working, but I wasn't sure about 7. Let's go ahead and open up the camera and snap a pic. So the 4S got iOS 7, 8, and 9, and iOS 7 runs pretty smoothly on here, although it's certainly not as smooth as an iPhone 5 or 5S is going to do. And the smaller screen is not ideal. Control Center basically fills the entire screen. And iOS 7 actually had 3 tabs here in Notification Center, which in my opinion is way too much. All you need is 1 or 2. But little tidbit there. Passbook was introduced, I think, in iOS 5. But you can tell in iOS 7 Passbook because it only has 3 little lines or bars there. So my plan was actually going to be to downgrade this to iOS 6 because I was expecting it to be on iOS 9. But that's obviously not the case, so I think I'm just going to leave it on iOS 7 because that, in my opinion, is harder to get because an iOS 6 or iOS 9 device can basically be downgraded or upgraded at will. So there's no point in taking iOS 6 or 9 when you can get iOS 7. And there we've got our LED flash on the iPhone. This is a really clean device, and not sure when this was purchased. Perhaps it was sold with iOS 7. I could probably run the serial number and figure that out, but it doesn't really matter. So there's just something pretty cool about the 4S, and I love the design. You got the glass on the front, glass on the back, metal going around it. It is essentially an iPhone 4, but the inside's got a massive upgrade. You've got the dual-core A5 processor and 512 megabytes of RAM, which is somewhat limiting for this device. I think if it had 1 gigabyte, it would feel a lot smoother, especially on iOS 7, 8, and 9. But overall, feels really nice, and for the most part, it is pretty smooth, and it looks pretty cool here on iOS 7. So there you have it. That's been a look at this iPhone 4S running iOS 7.0.4, I think. Yeah, 7.0.4. Before we go, let's check out those iOS 7 wallpapers. I know there are some good ones in here. Some very nice, unique wallpapers that I think were only available in iOS 7 and 8. And then in iOS 9, they changed a lot of them. So we'll go ahead and make this mountain here our wallpaper. If anyone knows what mountain this is, leave that down in the comments below. That'll be our fun fact for the day. Figure out where in the world this photo was taken, but it looks amazing here on this 3.5-inch Retina display. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.